Yo, what's going on, JV?
Going on.
Hey man,
I got a
your
new
your
studio.
background looks a little different right now. Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
I'm not sure if I downgraded or upgraded. I'm trying to figure it out still.
You definitely upgraded
I,
that chair. All right, man,
I
let's kick
upgraded
this
the
off the way
chair,
we owe.
but downgraded the background.
Hey, look, honestly, at least you have some color behind you, and it doesn't look like you're fucking kidnapped in a Iraqi cave or some
You're
shit.
right.
Yeah. Hey man, we gotta give a shout out, like always, to our executive producer, Jonathan La Parrilla. As always, man, thank you for supporting the show. Appreciate you so much, man. But also, we kind of hate you, right? Like, if we're being honest.
Absolutely. Look, man, I appreciate you trying to mentor us and sitting us down and conducting focus groups and
Yes.
reaching out to potential listeners.
Hmm.
But I kind of hate that you're trying to limit us and put strings on us and tell us that we need to niche down because it's not niche, it's
Niche.
niche down.
Niche. It's
Why,
niche.
man? Why are you trying to
100%.
put a ceiling on us? Why are you trying to limit us? We're trying to break through that glass ceiling, man. Huh?
No strings on me. Like Ultron says in Age of Ultron there. Don't niche us down, bro. We'll figure this thing out. But yeah, man, want to give a shout out to our new followers and fellow podcasters. Make sure I get these names right. Unruly Geese Podcast, Late Fee Cinema, and Big Empty Purse Podcast. Check them out wherever you listen to your podcast. Had good conversations and engagement with them in the last couple days on Twitter, which is my new venue, right? Yeah, venue sounds good. Venue for my social media because I know we need social media, but I'm still anti-social media, so I'm trying to find the balance for that.
Yeah, how does that work? You're the social media guy who doesn't want to use social media. But yeah, I
It's
checked out
it's
Big
a
Empty Purse,
paradoxical.
and they
It's
are, yeah,
paradoxical, my friend.
it's a pretty interesting show. And since we're giving
Yeah.
shout outs, I know if you're listening, you can't see, but shout out to these waves right here.
They're not
Benjamin, you
waves,
don't have
John.
any hair. You don't have any hair, and you keep saying they're not waves because you're hating.
They're-
But these, look at this, look at the shine on this air. Look at that, look at the shine, man. And this is with a bad camera and terrible lighting. Anyway, shout
Yeah,
out to the hair.
it's not waves, John. It's not waves,
Look,
bro.
man, I didn't put any
Anyways,
rollers
man.
on my hair. I didn't have no rollers on my hair. It just happens naturally. You wouldn't
Okay,
understand that.
all right. Let's get into the intro after the intro. Yo, what are you doing
Jesus,
right now?
The big V.
Not waves at
Look,
all.
man.
All right, man. Let's just jump right into this shit. So,
I made my wife wake up and drive me there anyway.
you,
Es a major.
¿Cómo está con eso? ¿Cómo está con
Hablar
español?
español. ¿Qué pasó, papá? ¿Cómo estás? Any questions?
Now, when you bought that sweater, right? You just go, fuck it. I'm going full Mr. Rogers. You've tuned into the Man Chatter podcast. And hey, man, every time I hear that shit that my boy Ant made, it makes me dance, bro. Like I'm off camera, just dun.
Yeah, man. He got it right. He got it right.
Yeah, he's working on a new like hold music for our podcast, so we don't get taken off YouTube for copyright infringement. But before we get really started with this podcast, I want to give you a toast, my brother, to another podcast. What this is 100 episodes, John. 100. What's your
Cheer.
fucking? What is that, bro?
It's a Moscow Mule, a mug is what that is.
Okay, that doesn't.
And,
But what's in the mug? Nothing, right? Like nothing really is in
orange
that.
juice, man.
Oh, OJ.
Hey, look, man, I'm not at home. I had to make do with what I found, and OJ was it for today.
Yeah, I mean OJ will do it. Yeah, you had to take a little impromptu road trip.
Yeah.
To go see some family, which I appreciate, man. You know me, all about the fam. So I'm all about that. But yeah, man. Dude, like you said it in the pre-intro, right? And that's why I named this episode this. What's niche? Right? Like it's a conversation that we've had going back and forth for probably 100 episodes, right? Like,
yeah.
Do you have to hone yourself down and cone yourself down to fit into something? Like, it's the stuff we struggle with, or I struggle with mostly, right? like that, trying to figure out exactly what we would want to talk about for an extended amount of time, because we're at 100 episodes now, and we've had some great times on this show. Right, we're 180, but 79 of those were rants of me on politics. So
I was about to
go back
say,
and
you
listen.
started this,
Yeah.
you did a good 79, 80 episodes on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think I might have joined you as a guest a couple of times. So this was your baby, and it's gone through a couple iterations, right? It was in my own words, and then I think you might have changed the name once or twice. But I think the problem is, yeah, I think with anything, whether you're writing a blog, and we talked about that in like the money in affiliate marketing, right? You create an affiliate blog, and you aim that blog at a website just for like workout equipment, and then you write your articles and your reviews just for that. And so the same thing applies to whatever brand you're creating or podcast, but at the same time, you got to be true to yourself. So I don't think that the problem with you is finding a niche. I think you provide, social commentary or your view on things that are going on. I mean, that is the niche, right? Like you do talk about current events, which was one of the things that our executive producer sort of that's what he was saying. You guys need to niche down. You could do the news, you could do this, and so that's what it was. It's been news, but your problem is that you like to go on for 45 minutes, and then we're like, oh crap, these other 4 topics we're gonna hit. Now we have 10 minutes left, or we try to hit them on, then the podcast turns into 2.5 hours, and people don't want to listen to 2.5 hours. It's tough, which we've done, right? But a manageable, something that's easy to listen to, 45 to 60 minutes, depending on where you're at, going home on the train or whatever. So yeah, I think that's what it is, and it comes from your dislike for authority, right? You don't like authority, so you're like, well, you're putting a time limit on me. No, I'm not going to talk about this for 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I will not go on to the next segment. I will keep talking about my dislike for whatever, the pipeline. I don't know. So that's
it's a good example. You're right. Like I do which is always makes me wonder how the fuck I didn't get in trouble in the military, like when I was in the army, like because I had constant. I had a couple counselings, right? Never had like an Article 15, which if you're listening to the podcast, Article 15 is like, you get a drop in rank. You have to do 45 days of detail, and 45 days of like half pay, right? If I remember correctly, like where you get like docked pay.
Yeah, you get docked pay.
Is that right?
Put restrictions on you. You can't leave the base, and you got to do a bunch of like just clean up and other crap, whatever it is that they tell you to do for 30 or 45 days. Yeah,
I was very much so a line runner upper. Like I would run right up to that line, like, oh, there's the fucking edge right there. Like, oh, if I go over this shit, I'm gonna get in some trouble. But I did have run-ins with like people in higher ranks and shit like that, but never anything that got me into any serious trouble. So yeah, like I don't like, I struggle to like put limits on what we want to talk about, because we look, the way I look at us in this podcast is like what we talk about in a group chat, like, and put it into audio and video form. Like these are the way we feel about things, be it right, wrong, or indifferent, right? Like we're not always going to have the best takes or opinions on shit, and we're honest about that. Like we've said it for 100 episodes. We're just assholes on the internet, right? Like we're just giving our opinions on these different things, and we hope that when you listen to our content or watch it or any of it or subscribe to it, you're like, yeah, like it makes sense. Like it doesn't all have to be this one targeted thing. Those podcasts are great. I'm not knocking those at all. Right. But I was listening to a Big Empty Purse, right? And they talked for a couple minutes about The Witcher, and they talked about like it was just 2 friends like we are. They talked about like Henry Cavill's ass, that they zoomed in on it for like five good seconds, and it was like, yeah, it's about time that male actors are objectified like women are. I was like, yeah, like that make, you know what I'm saying? In roles like that, yeah, it makes sense. Like Henry Cavill got ripped up, and you know what I'm saying, like was shirtless throughout that whole fucking series. Like, yeah, enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's there for. Like these are just opinions. Like that, I think we are the niche, right? Like our friendship, 25 years, and the fact that like there's a bunch of stuff going on. Like I don't want to be honed in. Like the sports podcast, they have it down packed. The MMA podcast, that's all they do. Great. If you work for it, that's cool. But like in everything else, it's multi-layered and multifaceted, right? And yeah, we'll try to give you these segments, and then we'll move on to something else. You know, like we're like do a follow-up sometimes, like we'll do on our Patreon later about the Chris D'Elia story. Or, you know what I mean? We'll talk about something that happens, which we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, about the Nike vice president resigning. Like things that I catch our eye, but we're not going to like, and we talked about it offline last podcast, right? Like we talked for 58 minutes about politics, and after I felt disgusting, right? Like I felt gross. Like I felt depressed. Like that felt dark and dreary, and like the fact that your brother, love him to death, was agreeing with me made me feel worse somehow.
Yeah,
like, I was like, ah, God, because he's so fucking. The sky is falling. Where I'm like, I don't want to do that, man. Like, I want you to come to our show. Yeah,
and I wasn't
100%.
I wasn't helping either because I was just like, these politicians don't care about us. They're all bought by corporations. And as I was saying all that stuff, I like knew I was like, this is not good energy that I'm putting out. I hate talking about politics.
Yeah.
And that's why I try not to do it. Every time you bring it up, like, I say, let's talk something else.
Yeah, we'll cover things like that when like things catch our eye. Like you'll talk about Bitcoin, because these are the things that interest us, and we want to put our information and our education, be it right, wrong, or indifferent, out there. And if you disagree with us, cool, man. Like we're always down to have people on the show for a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not afraid of that type of shit. We're not that show where we're like, oh, only the left is right, or no, man. Like that's not what this is. Like these are two people having a conversation about things they have opinions on. Like that's our niche. You know?
Absolutely. And so before you know, that's why I'm here. And Parrilla is usually, you know, he's there too to keep you in line before you get carried away like a damn freight train. That's what we do. That's our niche, which is we do talk about current events going on. That's the problem when people say niche. We talk about current events. So current events could be upcoming UFC fights. Current events could be what happened with, you know, the Nike VP with D'Elia, which we'll talk in a Patreon episode. So we hit the current events and we give your take. And so that's the niche. We are the two assholes that give you their take on what's going on in the world of not just sports, but in the world in general. So social, you know, society, culture, etc.
And if you guys watch us or follow us on Twitter, John at Miami Lost Son, I'm pretty much the Man Chatter Podcast, right? I handle our Twitter. If you guys think of stories, we're open to listening. Like send us stuff, you know what I mean, and we'll look it up, and then we'll do the research, and then we'll do some vetting, because you know we're not just gonna like go clickbaity with it, and then we'll talk about it on the show. Like this is with you guys too. Like we're not just doing this ourselves. Like if there's things you want us to give your opinion on, if be it opposite or the same as yours, send it to us. You know what I mean? Oh, shout out to Chris commenting on our Facebook, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, man. Like that's our niche. Current events, topics, and two assholes on the internet constantly cursing. If my mom was watching this, I just want to apologize. John made me curse, Mom, because I haven't been the same since you said in Spanish that I'm your fourth favorite child after the two dogs and Josh. Right? Like let's just it's not fun. It's not cool. It's a little hurtful. But we move on. But yeah, man.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's move on. All right. Cry. So I would totally cry. It's been an emotional day. I'm 7 days from 37, and it's hitting me. It's fucking hitting me. All right, let's go. All right, man. So if you guys haven't heard the story by now, John's gonna be pulling it up here on the screen share as I maneuver on the other side of it. The vice president of North American operations for Nike resigned because her son took advantage of her position, I guess is the best way to say it, John. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way. Now, is this? There are investigations going on. I think this is alleged, but it seems like, you know, that's what happened. he took advantage of her position at Nike. The allegations are that he was getting like insider information as to when certain limited releases or limited, shoes were being released, because what his company is, and I'm pulling it up. I don't know if it's coming up on the screen now.
Yep, I can see it.
Yeah, he has a clothing company, and it's called Western. I don't want to screw up the name. West Coast
Wear. West Coast Streetwear. Yep.
Yeah, a company that buys and resells limited editions of sneakers and clothing. So obviously, whether he's selling Yeezys or whatever it is, he would buy them in bulk and then, hike up the price and resell them. And he's how old?
Yeah, 19.
19.
And he's been doing it for 3 years. So since he was 16.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, look, hey, I give him props.
Yes.
He as a 16-year-old, he decided he was an entrepreneur. He said, I got an insider source. I got a source. I got the hookup. And he saw a business opportunity and he took it.
100%.
So, but you can see how that doesn't look good on her or the company.
So if you read the story, we're sharing our screen from the New York Times, but you can look it up, and it's a very similar article on Yahoo Sports, Bleacher Report, anywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that I had the only thing that I had the issue with, I'm not gonna knock the fact that he took advantage of a situation, given would have done the same thing. The issue that I had with it is the fact that Nike knew about it in like 2018, and she only stepped down when it became public, right? Because he did an interview saying that like, oh, I have, it's all about who you know, gotta have the connect, yada yada yada. Paraphrasing the entire article, right?
Right.
Nike knew about it in 2018. They didn't think it was an issue. As soon as something becomes public, then she had to step down because of bad publicity and all that stuff. And I'm like, hey, Nike, you know my motto, John. Keep that same energy, bro. Like,
exactly.
She told you about it in 2018. Why does she have to step down? She worked for your company for 25 years. 3 years ago, you said there was no conflict, but I guess the issue came with him like opening a credit card in her name and buying all the stuff like under her name because he was too young to open up a credit card. Again, like, how many parents don't, you know what I'm saying, give their son a credit card like, hey, only for emergencies? And he completely took advantage of it, right? 100%. He completely took advantage of it and ruined her career. Because think about it, because she worked at Nike straight out of college, 25 years. She's under 50 25. Years old. How does she have another job? How does she find another career? Right? We say that, but who know, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was the VP of North American shit for Nike. That's big time, bro. I'm probably not as big as like the China VP, but still.
Yeah. So I brought up the Yahoo article that you're talking about. That's the one we're sharing now.
Right.
And so somewhere else, again, read the article for yourself and you create your own opinion. But so he uses some software, he uses bots to find these shoes. So I'll read from the article. It says Yeezy Boost 350 Zion sneakers developed in partnership with Kanye West, retail for $220. Each style of Yeezy is released in a limited quantity of 40,000 and often sells above retail. Bloomberg reporter Joshua Hunt revealed in an investigative feature that Joe, Hebert, her son, used bots.
Hebert?
Sure.
Yep.
Used bots to exceed the transaction limit on the Yeezy supply website and then purchased $132,000 in sneakers, allegedly using an American Express card bearing his mother's name.
Yep.
So, I mean, Nike spokesperson told Bloomberg that there was no affiliation between Nike and Joe Hebert's company.
Yeah, and then he didn't respond to any follow up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never used her. Don't mention her, and try to tell the reporter, hey, don't bring her into the article. Yada yada yada. If here's what's stupid. Again, he's 19 about this kid. If he never does the interview, he keeps on selling with no issue. Still has that same connect. Bro, stop dry snitching on yourself, man. Like, just if you're doing some shit, shut the fuck up. Like, shut up.
I don't understand why people do that. But he needs that.
Don't
He
Takashi
needed
yourself,
that.
bro.
He needed that clout. He
Yeah, he
needed
needed
that.
that clout. Yes.
Why can't people just be like, I'm
100%.
gonna stay anonymous and I'm gonna keep making this money, or I'm gonna, but
No.
it's human nature, right? We're doing something. Oh, I'm doing something great. People should know. I want people to know
Yeah.
how great
No.
this is, how awesome I am, what a great idea I had. But he knew that if he did that interview and said these things, like people would make that connection. And whether it's true or not, it's again the court of public opinion. Whether he had insider information or not from his mother, doesn't matter. He cost his mother her job, and oh well.
Also, let's
I
be
hope,
real, though, right?
I hope he made bank to where he's good.
Yeah.
For a while.
I hope so too. And let's be honest about it, right? Like, she wasn't the only connect, right? Like, if he, like, there was another article a couple of days ago that I sent you that like said that like he knew what warehouse to go to get a bunch of shoes too. You know what I mean? So it's like he wasn't the only connect. But that I'm assuming Nike doesn't have like free range open ass warehouses where you can where it just says outside, hey, Nike exclusive shoes, and there's no security around.
Right.
Like security guard knew. Probably he dropped her name. Hey, I'm so and so son. I need to go back there. But he's not stealing them, right? From all accounts, he paid for all those shoes. So given it was with her name and all that profit shit, but he didn't steal any of it. It was with his, he paid for all of it. So again, Nike, just keep the same energy, bro. Yeah, with her name, with her credit card. Nike, just keep that same energy, man. You didn't have a problem with it when she told you about it in 2018. I don't think she had to lose her job. You didn't think it was anything wrong, so
that's what the article says too, I believe. Look, I think it says there was no affiliation between Nike and his company, and of course, the kid said that he never received insider information like discount codes or anything from his mom. So they haven't proved anything, but Nike is caving to public opinion,
public pressure. Yep.
Yeah, public pressure because of it seems like there was some impropriety there. They haven't proven anything, but just because it looks a certain way, they're taking preemptive action.
Yep.
So, which goes to tell you, by the way, which is why and I'll bring it up every chance I get, that we're looking for alternate revenue streams. It goes to tell you how much a company cares about you. 25 years of her life to that company, made her way to VP, and they let her go like that. Not like benefit of the doubt, not let's conduct investigations. No, these guys are saying there's no connection. The son is saying there's nothing that he received. There was no proof, and yet they let her go just like that. That tells you the loyalty.
Just like that. Yeah, because that's a forced resignation, right? That's not like, oh yeah, I was gonna leave anyway. Like how like Congress people and like senators do. I was gonna go spend more time with my family. That bullshit. No, like you got as a forced resignation. Again, 25 years. She might be in her young, under 50 years old. Chances are, right? Maybe in her early 50s. That's super young for the career she's in. She could have been on her way to being a CEO of another Fortune 500 company. And that career is over. But you never know.
Yeah. All right. I think we beat this one to death. I am gonna keep tabs on this kid to see how his clothing company is doing in a few months.
100%. We'll follow this kid, Joe Hebert. First of all, don't call yourself West Coast Joe, bro. Like, let's not do that. You know what I'm saying? That seems more gang affiliated, but you just sell shoes. Also, don't post it on your Instagram. You dry snitch on. You Takashi'd yourself, bro. Ridiculous. All right. Let's get into the last topic of the podcast. The last topic of the podcast. UFC 259. My brother. We often talk about the UFC having shitty cards, right? Like there being one fight on that card that you kind of want to see. Yeah. And the rest of them like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll see Joe Lozon. No disrespect. You could kill me with one rear naked choke. I mean, no disrespect. I want to apologize. Joe Daddy Stevenson, just random fighters. Fucking Forrest Griffin. Just random fighters that can all murder me within 12 to 7 seconds. of if I stepped up to him. But this card right here, UFC 259, has a triple title on the main event. You have Amanda Nunes headlining against Megan Anderson. No, she's is she the co-main?
She is the. From what I'm looking at, it looks like she's the co-main because it's Izzy.
I guess they're going by weight. They're going by weight, right? That has to be the reason why. It's very disrespectful to Amanda Nunes to be the co-main. She should be the headliner.
I mean,
like,
I don't know.
She's the greatest female fighter of all time. Like she should be.
I'm at UFC.com, and they're not even saying what's what. It just has 3 title fights. It doesn't say which one's co. So I'm gonna have to see somewhere else to see how they have it listed.
I think a lot of the times they wait because of COVID. A lot of times they wait to like make sure everybody passes all their tests and make weight and stuff, and then they like set the card because they I think the UFC with Conor, they fired a guy like the day of because he broke COVID protocols, and it was like supposed to be some like badass guy from like the Khabib camp because he like snuck people in and broke quarantine and shit like that. So I think they wait till like the day of to like finalize the card. Make sure everybody makes weight and shit like that. So I'm just gonna assume that it's gonna be Izzy Adesanya versus Jan Blachowicz. If I mispronounced your name, I'm sorry, brother. Then Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson and Peter or Puter, however he.
No, Peter. It's Peter Yan.
Yeah, because for a while he went under Puter, right? He went as like Puter Yan, and then he like no, it's Peter. I'm like, all right, bro. Then add an E.
Can I tell you that I thought that like I knew who he was, but for some reason, I see his picture and I hear his name and I think he's Cuban. I don't know what about Peter Yan makes me think he's Cuban. Maybe Yan, because a lot of Cuban names start with a Y. Yeah, Yandel, Yaciel.
Yeah.
What are you?
Yeah. You Snavi.
You Snavi. Yaroslav. Whatever. Just throw.
Yugoslavia and shit.
Yugoslavia. So I just thought that dude's Cuban, even though I knew he's Russian. But then there is a Cuban-Russia connection, so he could.
Yeah, there is that. Okay, we're going. We doing Bay of Pigs now? Let's just leave that. Let's leave that for another.
Let's stick to UFC.
Yeah. Talk about going this fucking sideways. But then that one, and then you have other monsters on the card. But let's just focus in because we could do a 2-hour podcast if we break down the whole thing. Those 3 title fights, right? You want to start from the top to the bottom, or from the Peter Yan Aljamain Sterling fight up? Because I kind of want your take on this.
Let's do top to bottom actually, because I'm not that excited about Yan Black. Is it Blachowicz?
Blachowicz and Izzy.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Izzy will give you the energy of. I guess he'll fight you depending on his opponent. That's the energy he'll give you. We saw what happened with Romero, and then we saw how he gave when he fought
Paulo Costa.
Paulo Costa, yeah, I was about to say Ricky Martin. What's his name? Yeah, Paulo Costa.
Yeah, he's Ricky Martin on roids. Ricky Roids.
Right, Ricky Martin. Yeah. So you saw what he did to that dude. So we'll see how Blachowicz comes out, because that's the kind of Adesanya that you'll get. He was kind of tentative when he fought Anderson Silva a few years ago. So if Blachowicz comes at him with some aggressiveness, I think you'll see Izzy counter, and it'll be an exciting fight. Which is, again, that's why I'm not excited about that fight. I like how talented he is, but if he's fighting against someone that's not bringing that kind of energy, he's just gonna sit there and wait to counter. And I appreciate the beauty of it, right? It's like watching a Mayweather fight, but if no one is attacking, he's not going to be the one to go out there.
No, it's a weird fight because the 205 fight should have been against John Jones, right?
Absolutely.
But it makes sense for him to take this fight because then it brings John Jones back to 205. But if you see John Jones' like Twitter and Instagram, the man is fucking jacked. Still skinny legs. Big up top, little legs. Right?
Sure.
Yeah. He's very much Johnny Bravo, right? Johnny Bones, Johnny Bravo, same person.
Yeah.
But that it's a weird fight for Izzy for me, right? Because Jan Blachowicz just won his title against Dominic Reyes, and then now his next title defense is against an actual 185er that probably walks around 230, probably. You know what I'm saying? That cuts down to 185. So we'll see
Right.
how he reacts in this weight. But it's a huge risk for Izzy because, again, like I'm a big fan of Izzy, right? Like my cousin, you know what I'm saying? Big fan of the show. Steven hates Izzy because of him beating Anderson Silva. You know, Anderson Silva's his baby. He's in love with him. He'll let him cuddle, yada yada yada, under a weighted blanket. But what are you gonna say?
No, I mean, I think I feel the same about Anderson Silva as he does about Anderson Silva and John Jones.
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that fight in Anderson's prime, you know, and Izzy in his prime, because he's 31.
Yep.
He's not like that young.
Yep.
He's right in the middle of his prime. So I wish I would have seen that fight at
Yep.
that point. But you know, it's interesting only because he stepped up in weight, and I want to see how
Yes.
his power carries, and we'll see. That's the only thing that I find exciting about it. I think Izzy pulls it off. And then there's
Yeah.
not one really in that weight class, I think, that would really challenge him unless John Jones comes back down.
Which would be
Because we saw
crazy, right? Because he
Dominic
just
Reyes-
bulked up again.
Yeah, we saw Dominic Reyes
not-
is he's a football player. He's an athlete, but he's not quite there yet. That fight against John Jones was more a lack of like maybe John Jones taking him seriously and taking the fight seriously than anything else. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Izzy takes it. I think Izzy's a more talented fighter, but
Yeah.
Jan can make a name for himself. But Jan is kind of, I guess he's had like a late resurgence. I've only seen a handful of fights of his, and he knocks people out. But I think there's that journeyman side to him, right? Where it's
Right.
very much so. I don't want to be disrespectful to him because
But we
I'm
are
not saying they're
being
the same kind of
completely
fight.
disrespectful right now.
No, and 100% we are. I got to remember we're assholes. Like he's very much so like in the Michael Bisping-esque of fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
yeah, like he's very much so that like 36 wins and like 17, 18 losses or something. You know what I'm saying? Like some wild shit like that because he fought a lot and he's a fucking savage and they'll have to deal with brain trauma later on in life. Sorry, but you will because you got punched in the fucking head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's very much so in that vein, but like he isn't. There is that moment like, yeah, you could make him a star, but he could just be like a one-off guy that's just like a temporary title holder for the fight that all of us want to see. But he could be the upset guy, right? Like we're like, oh, he like catches Izzy because he's taking him for granted, and then he catches him and he like puts him to sleep. But Izzy's never been knocked. I think Izzy's only ever been knocked out once, and it was like in an unsanctioned fight that it was like almost because he got knocked out, but he got back up and like ended up knocking the guy out. So it was like in kickboxing years ago. He was like he was like a fucking baby. He was like 18, 19 years old. And he was like knocked out cold and got up and was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. So Izzy, it can happen, right? Anybody can get knocked out. Anybody can hit you in the bell and it's a wrap. But I don't see it from Jan.
Saw him in his last fight. You saw him get like kind of buzzed a little bit. And even when he fought Romero, the 8 punches that they both threw combined, when that first exchange, he felt Romero's power and he kind of backed off. So
but you also saw like his ability to fight in the phone booth with Kelvin Gastelum, where they just went to war and fucking rock'em sock'em robots in that for 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So
we talked way too much
Izzy
about
gets
this
a lot of
fight
shit
that I don't really care about.
Yeah, no. So we'll finish it with this before we move on to that Amanda Nunes fight. Like Izzy gets a lot of shit because like he talks a lot of shit and like people they almost want to make the same like mistake where like, oh, he's not that good of a fighter. He just destroyed Paulo Costa, made it look like Paulo Costa didn't deserve to be in the octagon with him. A guy that wrecked Yoel Romero. Right? Like that.
But you know what? I don't think you wrecked him, man. Like they had a hell of a fight going back and forth. I think it might have been unanimous, but that fight was like I watched it 2 weeks ago because I was thinking the same thing. I missed. I don't remember if I saw the fight or whatever, but I kept hearing, oh, he got beat. So I was like unanimous, and I saw it expecting that Romero got wrecked or he was like finally knocked out. They were both going at it, man. They were going to war. It was
so It,
But
it
he
was
was the
it
one
was that.
pushing forward.
Yes, he was the one stepping forward, and so because they both pushed forward, Izzy read that, and that's why he destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Like this is your
Yeah.
only game plan. I have multiple.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got Izzy winning that. You know what I'm saying? Knock on wood. I'm a fan of Izzy. Anybody that likes anime, my brother likes anime. So ipso facto, Excalibur shit, whatever, I'm rocking with Izzy. All right, man.
Okay.
I don't know if any of that made sense, but this Buffalo Trace is hitting. All right,
I think so.
Megan Anderson, Amanda Nunes. We can just make this short and sweet. Amanda Nunes, right?
Amanda Nunes, like
It's
what?
just
Yeah, there's no one else for her to fight,
what
so they're like, we'll just throw this other person at her. Yeah,
she
that's
just had
how
a
I see
like
it.
her wife just had a baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching the UFC like daily shit, like unfiltered or whatever the fuck it is, like
Mhm.
the vlogs. Like her wife just had a baby, another UFC fighter. She seems super happy. Like I get it. Look, man, if they're gonna pay you all this money and you don't get hurt in the fights, fucking fight. Right? Like you're getting paid probably a couple $100,000 for a 15-minute fight, probably at the most. Yeah, you take that fight and you support your family 100%.
Absolutely.
But also, please be careful because you are the greatest female fighter ever. Like next would be like a hyped up fight of like Clarissa Shields. That's a boxer. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nobody else for her to fight. She's wrecked.
Hey,
She's the greatest of
no,
all time.
no, I'm sorry. No, we're not even gonna talk about
No,
Megan Anderson. Don't you disrespect?
we're not.
Don't you
What are you about
disrespect
to do right now?
the
What
other
are you about to
great
say right now?
fighter in the UFC? I know they fought twice before.
Female fighter?
Huh?
Oh, Valentina Shevchenko?
Yeah, one of those. Even though
Yeah.
she got the win on both, I thought one of them Shevchenko won. Shevchenko's a beast.
Yeah, 3-2.
No,
Yes.
I
But she's
yeah.
but also she's not like look, Shevchenko can be 2. And I have she is on the what's that shit? The is it in Idaho? The fucking the Mount Rushmore? She's on the Mount Rushmore.
They're 1 and 1A. She is not a 2. They are
No,
right
no,
there.
no, 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 no.
Those two fights are closer than people would give her
like,
credit for.
oh my
I've been watching
oh,
Shevchenko fight. Look, we can do this. We can do this all day. All right. Shevchenko
we're
is
not.
another monster, and we're not because I'm the one that's supposed to be watching the time. Yeah.
I'm not saying don't take it. Listen, again, Shevchenko could knock both of our heads off with one kick, right? Like doesn't even come back down. I'm not diminishing Shevchenko. I'm just saying Amanda Nunes is better. Right? Like I'm just
Yeah, but
they need to fight. Do they need to fight another?
You're saying it's definitive. She's in another stratosphere, and that's not the case. And we're gonna
Listen,
disagree
do I
on
want
this, and
to?
that's fine. We can agree to disagree.
We don't have to agree. What the fuck? This isn't fucking a
But
network. We can absolutely
there
disagree.
is not that
They have
great
to fight.
difference that you're talking about.
It isn't a like the thing is that people and you're making the mistake on is there isn't a great difference in MMA, right? It's about like but other than Khabib, right? It's very much so inches and millimeters, right? Like it's not that much of a it's not a vast difference. But two-way title champ has destroyed everybody in front of her. Do they have to fight another time? And am I hoping that they fight a third time if Valentina Shevchenko gets past Jessica Andrade, which is a fucking monster?
Yeah.
Right? It's a huge problem. That's a huge problem
Yeah.
for Jessica. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another. There could be a two-time, 2-division champ because they're fighting in June or something. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we gotta be mindful of that. And I don't know who Valentina Shevchenko's fought at 125. Right? Like I can't name one person. I could rattle off names for. Again, it becomes the names, right? It's also who you fought. So, but it's Amanda Nunes. It's Amanda Nunes, dude. What she did to Ronda Rousey was an Instagram clip, and that didn't have to be edited. You understand what I'm saying? It was 48 seconds, bro. There was 12 seconds left.
What she did to Ronda Rousey, other people did to Ronda Rousey because she didn't evolve. Okay, let's not use Ronda Rousey as the measuring stick.
She did it to Holly.
Okay,
Holly Holm.
Holly Holm. Yeah.
Holly Holm. Cyborg. Tell me who did it to Cyborg.
Oh yeah, no. Hey, you're right. You're right. She did it.
Okay, thank you. All right, we end the podcast right there. Then I was right. All right, that's it. I won this.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that.
God, I literally have control of the. I could hit end right if I wanted to. But nah, man,
Hey,
look,
so do I.
I'm not Valentina Shevchenko. I think Valentina Shevchenko has, since Amanda Nunes, right, has the greatest challenge of her fighting career coming up against Jessica Andrade. Can she destroy her? 100%. Her stand-up game is crazy. Her jiu-jitsu is crazy. I love the fact that she was born in Eastern Europe, but now lives in Peru and trains at altitude and speaks Spanish fluently. And so does her sister. Listen, I'm a fan. I'm a fan, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. But this fight right here is a needed fight for her legacy, right? Because I can't name a single person that she's fought. She fought Joanna, and that went the distance. Joanna's a real 115. She's not a 125er. Like, who? The only person that's next is maybe Wei Li Zhang.
You also saw that
talking?
fight between Joanna and Wei Li, right?
Yeah,
Was it
I
Wei
did.
Li? Yeah.
That's maybe
Okay.
Yeah, Wei Li Zhang. The fucking Chichong, Pablo, Chichong. Like the fucking.
Yeah, Chichong, man. The Klingon.
Hematoma. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Fucking long live and prosper and shit. Yeah, I saw it. Of
Again,
course I saw it.
No disrespect to Megan Anderson, because we were talking about everyone but her.
Yeah.
I wish
She's
that
tall.
this fight was against anyone but her, just so I can that's why I brought up Shevchenko. You know, because
We literally brought other fighters up that aren't even on the card.
that are not even in the weight class, like 30 pounds off. Wei Li.
Yeah,
But that's what it is. Like, but at least we get to see her fight. I don't think it's going to be dangerous unless she just doesn't take the fight seriously. But honestly, the fight that I'm really looking forward to is this last fight that we're going to talk about, which is that third title fight.
So you're just lying. That's why we left it for last. That's why we left it for last. We don't even know how to pronounce the guy's name.
Because I'm looking forward
Sterling?
to Peter El Cubano Yan, who's actually Russian.
Yeah, he's definitely not cute. Yes, he is.
And Aljamain Sterling. And I'm pulling for Aljamain. I mean, I saw that his last fight against what was dude's name?
Corey Sandhagen.
That they
made
such a big deal out of it, and he just caught Corey. I think he submitted him, right?
Yeah.
That's what it was. He just
in like a minute.
We didn't get to see what that fight could have been, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe he was just that much more skilled, but I think he just got caught. Maybe this is whatever happens. That's why you fight.
Yep.
So, but I've seen Peter Yan fights. I mean, the guy's a fucking pit bull, but I don't know that Aljamain can beat him. Only because, and I've seen him fight, but I've seen Peter Yan fight. I think he wins, but I'm pulling for Aljamain.
Yeah, I'm pulling for Aljamain. Obviously, I'm pulling for Aljamain in that one as well. The last time before, I didn't see the Corey Sandhagen fight because I think it was like free or some shit. So I didn't really, I don't remember watching it. But the last time I saw Aljamain fight was when he got fucking knocked out and he stayed in the dab position because he was like about to throw a punch and his body just locked up like that. So that was a thing that happened. Aljamain's a badass motherfucker.
Oh, you talking about when he fought? Yeah. Fuck, now I have to go back to. Now I gotta look. Marlon Moraes. I have to look up and find out his last loss. It was a knee. Yeah,
Marlon Moraes caught him. Yeah. So that was a thing that happened. But yeah, I'm pulling for Aljamain, but Peter El Cubano Yang might pull it off because he seems like he doesn't give a fuck. He seems very Khabib energy-ish.
Yeah.
Where he's just gonna get in there, does what he do, and then he goes home. Like there's no hype. He's not gonna sell any fucking tickets. He always has to be a co-main or a third main. And nobody's gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like I'd rather watch Figueiredo and Moreno fight than any Peter Yan fight.
And they're fighting again.
Yeah, they're fighting again.
Hey, no, Peter Yan is a beast, man. He has that, like you said, he's got that Khabib, Ivan Drago energy where he trains like a damn machine. He comes in, takes care of business, and he goes back to Mother Russia.
Yeah, understand this. Like when we say don't give a fuck about these fighters, we are very understanding that all of these fighters can kick our asses. All right, we're not. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying it. Like this is not a person I would go out of my way to see. That's no disrespect. It's a disrespect, but it's not a disrespect though, just because like I don't find that person entertaining. And as a fan, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of how you have to sell yourself. Like, and there's sometimes those fighters that don't have to sell themselves, like a Conor or fucking Nate Diaz, who just can show up and I'm gonna watch, right? Like Izzy's one of those guys because I don't have to see Izzy dance in his fucking walk-in for me to want to watch him, right? Like I've watched Izzy. I watched Izzy's first fight that wasn't that good in the UFC that went to decision. John Jones is another guy. Like John Jones is a guy I don't like and I don't go out of my way to watch for many reasons. But if he's on, I'll be interested. I'll keep tabs on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? I might VPN the situation, but I won't overdo it. I'm not gonna like buy the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's all we're saying. Who
And
VPNs? Shout out to
shout out to ExpressVPN.
Shout out to my people
NordVPN.
for the VPN. NordVPN, IP Vanish, gang.
And let's be honest. I mean, the only reason Steven watches Izzy fight is just to watch him dance in the intro. I don't think he watches the fights. He just wants to see him.
He's a good dancer, bro. To be honest, I'm fucking dance. And also, the fight after this has to be John Jones, unless John Jones is going straight for the title.
Yeah.
Which, wow, that would be fucking crazy. All right, man. We're about to record another episode right after this. That'll be put up on our Patreon. We'll have to figure out how the fuck we're gonna do this with this live stream because we usually do it live. So we'll have to record that one and see how we put it up on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Christian Gelibert, thank you so much for the comment, man. Big Empty Purse, thank you so much for the following us on Twitter. Again, was it Silly Geese Podcast? If I mispronounced it, I'm sorry. And Late Fee Cinema, thank you for the subscription. You guys run a great show, man. We're definitely gonna keep listening. John, you got anything else for the people? Also, don't put your hands like that, like you're about to fire somebody there, Nike.
Like I'm about to take over the world. Look, I gotta flex the fingers as well. If you're watching,
yeah.
No, man, you said it all. Thank you guys for listening, watching, and again, we're gonna continue to grow the show. We're gonna continue to reach out and put ourselves in places that where people might not listen to us, and we're gonna interact and bring in new fans, give you our perspectives, and hopefully you enjoy it. We'll keep doing it.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace.